Today's video will be part 4 of the V-neck sweater series. For this project, we'll be using the Centro with 48 needles, this beautiful evening jade yarn. Unfortunately, I don't remember the brand, but I can remember that it was acrylic, worsted weight, and the label recommended a 5mm crochet hook to be used with it. So I hope that is helpful in finding the yarn appropriate for this project. We will also be using a small crochet hook and tapestry needle to lift the yarn off the Centro hooks. And without further ado, let's get into it. In today's video, we will be sewing all of those panels we made in the last 3 videos together. We are going to take the back panel of whichever side you're doing, and you're going to have it face up. And then we're going to take the front panel of that same side and do it face down. And you can see the difference between the front and the back of the panels. And then I'm just going to attach everything with a 6mm hook. I feel like that works really well with the size needle that you get from the Centro. And then you're going to take the same string, or yarn, I'm sorry, make a slip stitch. Let me show you how to do that again. And then you're going to be going in these little loops that you can see. You're going to be doing that for each one, so you gotta fold these in a little bit. And you want to make sure you secure all of them, even this end one that doesn't look quite right. I'm gonna go in there. Go in there. Then actually, honestly, what I'm gonna do is forget the slip stitch. I'm just gonna go ahead and pull that through those ends right there. And I'm just gonna tie it off. That way I don't have to worry about it moving or doing anything crazy. There we go, much better. And then you're gonna go in that first one on each side. You're gonna grab that string, you're gonna pull it through. Go in the second one on each side. Grab the loop, pull it through, and then pull that under for a slip stitch. This is why I like to use a dramatically different color waste yarn for my project. That way you can really see the loops. And remember, this is a front and back panel, so you're going to finish the front panel before you finish the back panel, because it is wider. And I'll show you how to finish that when we get there. So we're going to keep going through, loop on the side, loop on the side, pull through. I'll show you that one more time. Loop on the side, loop on the side, grab that, pull through, and slip stitch. We're going to do that all the way till I get to the end of the front panel, and I'll show you how we're going to finish off the back panel. So we have done the last loop where they're both together, so you're just going to go in the next loop on the back panel, pull through, slip stitch. You'll just slip stitch all the way through to the end. Really making sure that you secure the last loop. I've had some bad experiences, so I just extra secure a loop that might not even be part of it. And I'm going to slip stitch twice. Cut myself a little bit of a tail to have something to work with later. Pull that through and secure it. And then you can flip that right side out, and then you can go ahead and remove the waste yarn. That is the waste yarn from one side, now the waste yarn from the other. I'm just going to make sure the ends are secure and nothing is going to start unraveling, because I can fix that real quick if I need to. And everything is good. And that's the seam, and this is what it looks like on the inside. Kind of similar to a sweater you might buy. It looks really good though. I'm going to set that aside, and you're going to take your two sleeve panels. And flip one inside out so they're right sides facing together. And you're going to seam down one side to make this one flat panel. I'm going to go ahead and kind of mark these and hold them together a little bit, and I'll be right back. And where you're going to be inserting your hook is when you roll it, you kind of see the edge that doesn't look too neat, and you roll it over a little more, and then you can start to see V's forming. That is where you want to insert your hook. And remember, we increased and decreased, so as you go along, you may have to roll a little more one way or the other to find that very first V. But stitching through the V's on each side is what's going to give it that seamless look once you flip it over. It'll make the fabric we're making look kind of like one solid piece, even though they're different colors. So same as last time, I'm going to go in that first V. In that first V. Pull this through with some tail, and I'm going to tie it. I'm going to go into that very next V. Sorry, my lighting for some reason is showing up as really dark. Go into the next V. Pull that through. The first few stitches are going to be a little difficult. Once you get a little further into it, it'll kind of hold itself together and it'll be a lot easier. After you pull through that loop, give a little slip stitch. You'll keep going in a V on each side and slip stitch. And I'm going to keep going until I can kind of find a spot where it starts to increase, and you kind of have to roll it a little more, and I'll show you what that looks like. And here you can see on each side, this is where we increase a loop because it's a little bigger. So after these few loops, it'll indicate that you'll have to kind of like roll it, because it goes from being a V and then you have to roll it over to get to that next V. See what I'm saying? V, and then to go over another space to get to the next one. So that's what I mean when you have to roll it to look for the V. So I have faith in you at this point that you know how to keep going along and slip stitching this, and I will meet you back here once we're done, or once I'm done. Now that I have gotten to the end, I'm gonna go ahead and secure it with two chains, cut a tail, and secure that. And then this, if it was one color, it would be less noticeable, and then also you could steam that to get like the squiggly out. My terminology today is perfect. But yeah, if this was one color, it'd be a lot more seamless, and also once you block it, it'll look a lot better as well. But for now, we are going to take that front and back panel that you attached. And then remember, the part that extends is the inside, like the back. And you're gonna flip that inside out. And on the sides that match up, you're going to take the wider side of the sleeve, which is this side, and you're going to line up those seams, and then you're just going to attach it on the body, which I will show you. And I'm going to attach it from the middle so I can make sure it's all even. Attach it from the middle and go out, attach it from the middle and go out. So I'm going to go into that first loop right here. First V, I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna take the string and pull it through, giving it a little bit of a tail. And securing it. And then going into that very next one, which is gonna be, oh, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. And then going into that next V. I'm gonna pull up a loop. Go into the next one. Pull up another loop and slip stitch. And I'm gonna keep going like this. Until I have ran out of this, and I'll meet you back here to secure it. And now that you're at the end, you can go ahead and do 2 chain stitches, cut a tail, and secure. That is one half of the sleeve done. Now I'm going to move on over to the other half of the sleeve. I'm going to go ahead and loop through here to make sure there's no holes. Oh, sorry, you can't see that. I went in that first loop, and then I'm going to go in just another random loop behind it. And it doesn't matter which one, I just went in one right here just to make sure that in the corner there's no holes or anything. I'm sorry I keep popping out of frame. It's kind of difficult to look up close at your project when there is a camera between you. In the first V, in the first loop, pull through. The next V, and the next loop, pull through. keep going like this again until we get to the end. And I'll see you there. And then you can go ahead and chain 2, cut a tail, and secure it. And now the arm is done. You can go ahead and remove the waist yarn. And once that has been removed, I will very carefully go to the end, make sure that is secure. And then on the corner, that little hole, that will get fixed later when we secure all the loose threads. That is also secured. Okay, perfect. That looks really good, actually. I'm really proud of that sleeve. So now we have the body with the waist yarn still on the bottom. And then what is going to be the sleeve, which is still left open. So now you're going to do all of this to the other side, and I'll meet you right back here once you get done with that. And once I get done with that as well, and I'll show you what the rest of this is gonna look like. Now that you have both halves done, meaning the front panel and back panel are attached to the shoulder and the sleeves are done for both halves, I'm going to take the 2 back panels, which are the ones that stick out a bit more. I'm gonna pinch them together. Getting some of this extra stuff out of the way. It's a bit of a mess right now. I'm gonna pinch them together. That way just the backs are together and all the rest of it is just jumbled up here. Because you're now going to do what you just did to everything else to the back panels so that they're together, so you have one big back panel. I'm going to go under that first V. And with all these strings hanging out, it can be a bit of a mess. I'm gonna go ahead and use this excess that we have to start. I'm just gonna grab that and pull it, oh. Just gonna grab that and pull it through. Going into the next V. And pull through and slip stitch. And I'm going to continue doing this all the way up to the top of the panels so that the back is completely attached. And I will be right back to show you what that looks like. And then once you've reached the end, you can just chain 2 and cut yourself a tail. And now the 2 back panels are done. So now it is one big panel. And see, if you're using the same color, like this is gonna look pretty seamless. Like if these weren't different colors, that would be really nice looking. But I'm really loving the two-tone and the different colors. This is so fun. So now, keeping it back side, right side up, I'm going to fold it over. And I'm going to take the 2 front panels and I'm going to line them up, trying to find the V-neck, like where it starts. Which to me, it looks like it starts right here. I'm just gonna kind of mark those together. So I know about where that is. And then just to make sure, I'm gonna start marking them so I can kind of count the rows up. And I'll meet you back here when I'm done with that to start attaching it the same way I did the back panel. And I marked it where I thought the V-neck stopped, and I went up to there, and then I tried it on and I decided I wanted it to be a little bit taller or higher. You understand. So I went up another 10 stitches, and I'm going to go ahead and chain 2, pull out a tail, and cut. Then tighten it. And you can go higher if you want, because this is kind of, you know, a lot of V-neck, but I'm going to add a trim to it, which is going to fill it in a lot. So now that we have the front and the back panels done, let me get this sorted out because it is a mess. Here is the neck hole. And here's half the sweater. The sleeves aren't attached on the bottom. And the sides aren't attached either. So what I'm going to do now that the sweater's done is go ahead and start attaching it along the sleeve. And just keep going all the way down the side as well. And I'll do that to the other side also. So I'm going to go ahead and go in the first V. On each side. And I'm going to take the yarn that we had saved up on this side. That was part of it. Pull through. I'm just going to keep going and slip stitching all the way down until I get to the other side. So I haven't reached the armpit. I've gone all the way down the sleeve, and I could keep going. I'm going to go ahead and chain 2. You don't have to. You can keep going if you would like. I'm going to chain 2, cut a little bit of a tail, pull that through. And then I'm going to continue with the longer tail from the other side. And I'm just going to go in the first V, which may be a little difficult on these first parts. I'm going to go ahead and untie this and start using this as my working string. And then going in every V on each side, I'm going to go ahead and work my way down the side of this project. Right. So there are little threads going everywhere, just ignore that, but I went ahead and I went across the bottom of the sleeve and down the side on both sides. And now I'm going to go ahead and finish off the sleeve so that it will look like this one. How it's right side out. It has a nice little trim to it. So with it inside out, I'm going to start over here because this is nice and long, and I can go ahead and use this. I'm going to go in this little corner section first, just to pull this up through, and then in the V's, you're gonna have to pull them apart to see it, but it's gonna be similar to the back where you have the loop you can grab, that loop. You'll just go through that loop, pull the string up, and you're gonna do a single crochet. And the reason we're doing it from the side is so the single crochet edge is up on the sleeve so you can see it, and it looks nice along the edge of the sleeve. And this is both securing the edge as well as giving it a nice trim. If you were to do this from the other side, the trim would look like this from the top, and you don't want that. I mean, you might, you do you. I'm gonna keep doing this all the way around the sleeve, and when I get here, I'm just gonna slip stitch into this last one, chain 2, pull it tight, and then remove these. I'm gonna do that from the bottom as well. And once you've gone all the way around and you've slip stitched into that first one, chain 2, and pulled it to secure it, to remove these bits, since you've noticed you can't pull it like the other one, you will take this one, pull it to find where it is in here, go all the way to the end with that one, and then by doing that, by pulling it, you can see where it is in there because it's moving when you pull. And then you'll be able to pull that up. And then it should just pop right off. And you'll do that to both sides, pulling it all the way out. And you'll just keep going. And you can pull it all the way from the end if you want in one go. This one is just a little grippy and a little bit stubborn. I'm doing it in a few pieces, but yeah, it just comes right off, and then you're left with that beautiful edge. Now I'll see you when I get done with this, and I start on doing this same thing to the very bottom of the sweater. So it's gonna take a little longer because you have to go a lot further, but I'm gonna go ahead and go do that, and I'll be back. So I have finished going around the bottom, and I'm just going around the neckline to give it a nice trim, which I'm almost done. I'm just kind of going in like any empty spot or like a V, depending on the panel that you're on. It'll look a little different, and just making a nice trim to also make the spot between the panels look a little less awkward. And again, I'm doing it with it inside out, and I'm holding it this way so that when it's flipped, the trim is facing the same way. And then when you get back around to the other side, you can just slip stitch into that first one, and then chain 2 and pull through and pull that tight. And then when you're done with that, all you have to do is weave in all of your ends, and I will see you when I get done weaving in all of the ends. And here is the sweater. I went ahead and put a basic t-shirt underneath it so you can see what the v-neck would look like compared to a regular t-shirt. And I love it. I made it baggy so that it would kind of hang like that. And it is Here's a close-up of the seams. That kind of helps give it that light. I'm honestly really happy with the two tones of the panels. I think that's really cute. And this is why we did the crochet of the neckline the way we did. So the stitches are facing out, the same with the wrists. But yeah, here is the finished project. After all that hard work, I'm gonna tuck the sleeves up so you can see that. I think it came out looking really, really nice. And if you did it in a different colorway, I would love to see it. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the comment section below. If you want to ask your questions in a more private setting, please feel free to reach out to me on Instagram. I'll have that linked in the description box below. And if you made it this far into the video, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye!